Okay, okay, I will reply again. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the parallel session room 5 of the 4th International Conference on English Language Teaching, or ICON-ELT 2023. On the occasion, I'm Erin Jupita Nurohma, will accompany you to present outstanding presentations from our presenters whom I believe they will enrich our insights and knowledge, especially in English language teaching. Okay. Before the presentations begin, allow me to read some rules in this session. So please pay attention. The first, each of the presenters will be given around 15 minutes to present. When there are 5 minutes left, I will inform you through chat box or audio so you can finish your presentation on time. The second, in this parallel session, there are 5 presentations that will be delivered. The presentation will be delivered by Ms. Erin Jupita Nurohma, Mr. Katek Yogi Susana, Ms. Sri Novianti, Ms. Nurul Fadilah, and Ms. Amanda Rustian. And the third, a question and answer session will be held after all presentations have been delivered. For another presenter and audience, you have the opportunity to ask the questions to the presenters by typing your questions following the format into the chat box. You may send your questions at any time during the presentation. We will collect this and address them during the question and answer sessions. Okay, for the rules that have been given, do you have any questions? Is that clear? Okay. Yeah.
Yes, it's clear.
Okay, all right. As I said before, there are 5 presentations in these sessions, and without any further ado, let's begin to the first presentation entitled Inflection Affixes Used in High School English Book, Analyzing Morphology on English for Nusantara Textbooks, that will be delivered by me, Erin Jupita Nurohma, from Universitas Islam Malang. Okay.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. I would like to present my research paper with the title is suffix "it", suffix "ing", and suffix "er" are the most inflectional type in English for Nusantara textbook, an analysis of English morphology. My name is Erin Jupita Nurohma as the first author in this research, and the second author is Ma'am Durotun Nasihah, and we are from English Education Department, Universitas Islam Malang. I would say thank you for ICON-ELT 2023 from Universitas Islam Malang for the opportunity has been given to us. Okay, we go on to the chapter 1. The first chapter is Introduction. English is a language of communication between humans that is universal. It means that English is an international language that has been used as communication in the global scope. Because of that, the improvement and development of English is very important to apply and learn to improve the quality of human resource and be able to compare in the global scope. Learning English also includes basic language skills, which include phonology, word classification, or we can know as morphology, syntax, and semantics. This means that language learning includes an understanding of the form of affix in a word. Affix itself, consisting of prefix and suffixes, are the process of forming words by adding affixes to basic words, either singular or plural. By studying affix in Learn English, students can better understand the information conveyed in reading text. besides that, students can also easily understand the structure and variations of words using in conversation. In Indonesia, learning English has begun to be taught as a foreign language, starting from kindergarten until universities. Therefore, in the learning process, it's necessary to have supporting media to motivate students to achieve success and improve the quality of learning. Okay, in this part, English for Nusantara textbook for 10th grade class as the one of the supporting media to learning English. The textbook contains English vocabulary that has been adapted to the latest currently implemented curriculum, namely Curriculum Merdeka. Even though the textbook fulfills the basic needs of learning English, it still needs to be studied further about as part of the affixation variations contained in there. Based on the explanation, there are several problems can be found in this research. It's use of suffix t, suffix ings, and suffix s. It can be enrich students' vocabulary, and whether the use of inflection suffix ed, suffix ing, and suffix s is often used in formal reading in the textbooks. The second chapter is the methods. This research used a descriptive qualitative methods with a content analysis approach from the English for Nusantara textbooks for 10th grade as the object of research. Adapting from Miles and Haberman, this research was conducted in the 4 steps. The first step is data collection, which collects data from the research projects, was carried out using the akan and converter applications. And the second is data reduction. Data reduction is the sorting data that has been collected in the first step with the process of the second steps. In these steps, using the Microsoft Excel and online dictionary applications, data is sorting by separating data based on the form of the inflection and derivation first, and then can be separated in the form of affix in each word. And after that, go on to the third steps is data display or data analysis. In these steps, the data will be displayed and analyzed for its use along with the sample of the reading contained in the English for Nusantara textbooks for 10th grade. And based on the Nusantara textbook for 10th grade, suffix ed, suffix s, and suffix ing is the most found in the research objects. And after the analysis was carried out, it was concluded that the data was based on the research process had been carried out. And the conclusion contains the frequency and function of the affixes contained in the English for Nusantara textbooks. We go on to the third chapter, is finding and discussion. Based on research procedures conducted, the researcher found around 2,245 words have been contained in English for Nusantara textbooks for 10th grade. And based on the 2,248 words have been collected, around 1,239 words or 55% are included in the inflectional words, while 1,009 words or 45% of words in the English for Nusantara textbooks for 10th grade are derivational words. In percentage indicates that inflection words are dominant in the English for Nusantara textbooks for 10th grade. Then, besides 1,239 inflection words, the researcher found around 6 forms of affix can be found in the research objects. So we go on to the first form of affix. The first is suffix ed or d, with the percentage is 12.91% in the research objects. Suffix ed or d is a morpheme that ends in the ed or d. The use of this affix usually show the past tense or what has happened. In addition, the use of the suffix ed or suffix d in the morpheme when followed by being becomes a passive sentence. Okay, the second form is suffix s or es, with the percentage is 76.27%. means that the suffix s is affix to morphemes that end with s or es. The use of this affix usually shows the plural form. In addition, the suffix s also means singular in the verb or done by one person, with use he, she, it as the pronouns. Suffix s itself is used in present tense sentence. Go on to the third form is suffix ing, with the percentage is 8.79%. Suffix in is a affix to morphemes that we end in ng. The use of this affix usually refers to ongoing or recent activities. Morphemes that use the ing suffix usually indicate sentence in the present continuous or present progressive. And another suffix can the researchers found is suffix n. Is an affix to morpheme that we end in the n. The percentage of suffix n is 0.7%. The use of this affix usually shows the past tense or what has happened. And the next is suffix er, with the percentage is 0.7%, is the same like suffix before. Is an affix to morphemes that we end with the er. The use of this affix usually indicates a form of comparison that is comparative in the real life. And the last is suffix est, with the percentage is 0.8%. Is an affix to morphemes that we end in the est. The use of this affix usually shows a form in the comparison which is superlative in the real life. Okay, we go on to the next is discussion on this research. Based on 2,248 words that have been collected based in the word grouping steps, around 1,239 words are included in the inflectional word groups, while in the 1,009 words are included in the derivation word groups. That is, inflection dominates in English for Nusantara textbooks for 10th grade. And furthermore, the readings contained in the English for Nusantara textbooks for 10th grade are classified as formal readings with a focus on student learning. Based on the result of the research that has been done, the word forms contained in the reading are dominated by inflection. This relates to research conducted before regarding the analysis of word forms on the Tempo.com news page as the formal reading tool. This means that the reading content in the English for Nusantara textbooks for 10th grade doesn't enrich students' vocabulary meaning variation, in contrast of the result of research before about derivation, which dominated in the reading textbooks. Go on to the last chapter is conclusion. Based on the result of the research has been done, it was found around 1,239 words, or 55% of the words is inflection contained in the English for Nusantara textbooks for 10th grade, and 1,009 words contained in the English for Nusantara textbooks for 10th grade in the form of derivations. This shows that inflectional affix dominate in English for Nusantara textbooks. And around 1,239 inflection word form, there are 6 affixes can be found in there, namely suffix t or et, suffix s or es, suffix ing, suffix n, suffix r, and suffix s. And besides 6 forms of affix, suffix et, suffix s, and suffix ings are the most found in the research objects, with the frequent is 945 words. It indicates that English for Nusantara textbooks for 10th grade doesn't change the grammatical function, which is not enrich students with the new vocabulary in learning English. So it was concluded that the textbooks did not enrich the vocabulary of students at the 10th grade high school level. The implication can researchers share for teacher and student is keep improvement and development about vocabulary, especially in the form of affix, so the teacher and students can better understand the information conveyed in the reading text, especially in the formal text or non-formal text, starting from kindergarten until university. Besides that, the teacher and students can also easily understand the structure and variation of words used in the conversation in the global scopes. I think that's all for me, the first author of this research. Thank you for your attention, and the last is wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
All right, that's all for me as the first presentation in this break room. And then, as a reminder for the audience for this record room, you can still submit questions following the format to the chat box. And then let's move on to the next presentation entitled Grammatical Error Analysis in English Essay written by ICON-ELT students on Google Classroom that will be delivered by Mr. Kadek Yogi Susana from Institute Business and Technology Indonesia or ICON-ELT.
Hello everyone, let me introduce myself. My name is Kadek Yogi Susana, or you can call me Yogi. I am from INSTIKI or Institute Business and Technology Indonesia. Here I'm so happy to share the result of my research in the fourth ICON-ELT. My research entitled Grammatical Error Analysis in English Essay written by INSTIKI students on Google Classroom. Well, next, let me start with the topic of introduction. Yeah, so after I taught English in INSTIKI, especially in writing class, so I found lack of English grammar in the writing result of INSTIKI students, and then their essay did not follow the L2 rules. In this case, L2 for the second language, that is English, and then L1 for the first language, that is Indonesian. Next, I continue with the fact that I found their writing process was still based on the L1 rule, and then the meaning when processing L2 forms was not identified. Meanwhile, we know that the meaning is important for the students to, for example, analyze the content or information that they find in a sentence. So meaning is really important in the writing. And then describing the process of writing a persuasive essay is the base of this research. That is the content that they should create in the writing is in the form of English persuasive essay. So they try to write persuasively to attract the readers. In the future, they can use this skill to persuade or to attract their potential customer or client. And then, of course, the last one, analyzing the grammatical errors in English essays submitted on Google Classroom as the platform for me to let the students collect their writing results in order I can get some feedbacks as well for their knowledge of English. And then I continue with the research method that I use in this research. The first one is the subject of the research. Uh, they are the 25 students of Informatics Engineering Study Program or INSTIGI. Yeah, in this case, it is such a challenge for me to teach English for the students with the backgrounds of IT or information technology, that how they uh, think about the importance of English for their future career. And then the object of the research is English persuasive essay uploaded on Google Classroom applications, and then the method of collecting data, observation and documentations, and method of analyzing data is qualitative descriptive. Okay, here the findings are, the first one is in the form of grammatical error identification, that consists of the first one, errors in the use of tenses, and then errors in the use of noun will be, or is provided here, and then errors in the use of pronoun, errors in the use of verb, errors in the use of adjective, errors in the use of adverb, error in the use of prepositions, conjunctions, and determiner. Yeah. So here is the view of the process of my research, that is starting from how to give the learning input, that is the learning material for them that will be uploaded on Google Classrooms. So in order they can learn first how to write English persuasive essay, and after that we can evaluate or measure their writing on about English persuasive essay. Here we process the data that we find from the students until we can get the language learning output, that is the final English persuasive essay that will be analyzed in this research. And then after the main three process are conducted, the findings is that in terms of errors, out of the total 54 errors identified in the essays, that is, the two categories emerge as the most prevalent mistakes. The errors is in tenses and nouns, each accounting for the 26% of the total errors. So we must focus on tenses and nouns in here as the most prevalent mistakes. And then the errors in the verbs, 22%, errors in adjectives, adverbs, and prepositions accounted for 7%, and then errors of conjunctions, 4%, and then the last one, there are no errors found in the use of pronouns and determiners. Yeah, in terms of error frequency, here is the review or the illustrations about the process of this research or the study, starting from collecting the data through the Google Classroom platform, and then also we can make the tabulation of the data with the form that is provided here to get the percentage of tenses, noun, pronoun, verb, and adjective, adverb, preposition, conjunctions, and determiner. And the main data that we can find here is the tenses, then noun, yeah, and also the verb. Yeah, in this case we know this will be so much related with the sentence formations. or English communications or English writing. And then the discussions that we need to pay attention here is the grammatical errors in writing by English learners can arise from the lack of comprehensive knowledge of English grammar, tenses, sentence structure, and word usage, the impact of learners' mother tongues, and then offer general lessons on grammar rules incorrectly applied in various contexts, insufficient practice, fear of making mistakes, and time pressure during exams, disinterest in writing, and the complexity of English grammar subjectively. The conclusions is that I can conclude here after the research is that grammar is important by enhancing the language proficiency for effective communications, and then addressing grammatical errors is crucial for enhancing language skills and academic writing proficiency, and then adjusting teaching methods to students' challenges facilitates effective learning in writing classes. This research contributes to language education improvement at institute and similar institutions. Yeah, or university, another campus can get useful things for the English language learning in the future. Well, thank you so much. That's all my presentations about my research, and see you again someday. Thank you.
Okay, that's all. And thank you for Mr. Kadek Yogi Susana for the interesting presentation. And the next presentation entitled Texts and Logico-Semantic Relations in English Foreign Language Students Writing Compared and Experts that will be delivered by Ms. Sri Novianti from Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia.
All right, thank you, Ms. Erin. I'd like to share my video first.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Sri Novianti. I am a graduate student majoring in English language education at Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia. I would like to present my study that I conducted together with my lecturer, Bapak Wawan Gunawan. The title is Texts and Logico-Semantic Relations in EFL Students Writing Compared to an Experts. This study was motivated by the fact that in writing especially and in using language in general, students are expected to be able to deliver meaning in context. So it's not about mastering grammar, formulas, or rules, but it's more about how the students can use certain structures in order to use and deliver meaning in context. One of elements affecting good quality of writing is the development of clauses. Regarding this, there are two systems in systemic functional linguistics introduced by Halliday and Matheson. The first system is taxis. Taxis is about the relation between clauses connected together. There are two types of connection. The first one is parataxis and the next one is hypotaxis. Parataxis happens when the clauses are connected independently, and hypotaxis exists when the clauses are connected dependently. And the second system is logico-semantic relations. Here you can see that there are expansion, projection, in which each of them also have some division. and I will explain the terms later on in the findings part based on the document analysis that I conducted. And most previous studies have been conducted to university students learning academic writing, such as learning Japanese as a foreign language from Syria, research article from Srinivas, and English for specific purposes from Bakloti, Srinivas, and Stuart Smith. More relevant studies come from Leong and Guk, 2005, who analyzed students' English exposition text in Singapore, and Anggraini et al., 2018, who analyzed students' descriptive text in one of vocational schools in Malaysia. And based on these previous findings, this previous research, I found out that there seems less research, limited research on the field of these two systems, texts and logical semantic relation, in high school students' texts, especially in Indonesia. So this study tries to fill this gap. Well, the study is a qualitative descriptive research through a document analysis. And in doing the analysis, we refer to Halliday and Matheson's framework of the two systems that I previously mentioned. And the expert text is entitled 21st Century's Hero Steve Irwin, taken from student book published by Cambridge University Press 2014. And the student text is entitled Hasna Nafisa, and in the text, Hasna tells story about her biography. And in doing the analysis, there are two main steps that we had. The first one is each text was broken down into clauses, and the second one is texts and logical semantic relations were identified. So these are the findings. The first findings is about the clause complexes in expert text. From the total of 24 sentences in the text, 17 of them are clause complexes. So from the 17 clause complexes, we analyze their texts and their logical semantic relations. So the findings, some of the findings, the samples are presented in this table. In number 1, there is a sentence which consists of two clauses. On September 4, 2006, Australian TV presenter Steve Irwin died while filming around the Great Barrier Reef. As you can see here, the two clauses are connected by using while, and the second clause, symbolized as beta, serves as to give the explanation of time, which is called enhancement. So type of logical semantic relation exists here is enhancement, and the relation between the two clauses are hypothesis because one clause is dependent to the first clause symbolized as alpha. And we can also see the second example here. His parents ran a small nature park in Australia, and by the age of 8, he had already wrestled with his first crocodile and learned how to handle deadly snakes. In this clause, the texas exists is paratexis because the connection used is and here, and is used to give additional information. So the clauses are independently connected. That's why the first clauses is symbolized as 1, and the second clauses, the one that give additional information, is symbolized as 2. The plus here means that it's extension. Extension means giving additional information. Well, let's move to the second findings related to the student's text. So the total of the student's text, the sentences in the student's text are only 6. However, the students are able to use kind of taxes and logico-semantic relations. One of them is presented here in the table. As you can see, the first sentence is when she was in the 3rd grade of junior high school, she ranks first place in class. So here there is an explanation about time in the when she was in the 3rd grade. So this enhancement, as you can see here, the logico-semantic relation is the secondary clause. That's why it is symbolized as beta, and X here means that there is enhancement. So the primary clause is she ranked first place in the class. That's why I symbolize it as alpha. But the clause is continued and she got 5th place in parallel based on academic score. It means there is additional information here. That's why we have extension here as the logical semantic relation. And the taxis happen here is not hypotaxis anymore, but it's parataxis because she ranked and she got 5th place is parallel clauses. That's why I symbolize as 1 and 2. Well, so based on the findings, we can see that there are some types of taxes and logical semantic relations used in student text, like those used in experts tags. Some previous studies confirms this finding, like Joma and Bidin, who figured out that logical semantic relations in university student citations involve expansion, projection, and a combination of both. UNIAR also discovers those logical semantic relations in university students' essays. So what these two studies and my study have in common is that the use of these types of taxes and logical semantic relation can increase the effectivity of using a language for students to deliver meaning in context. So they are able to use language in context. And this also confirms what Ngongo figured out, which is using variety of taxes and its logical semantic relations enable students to use different processes of verbal and mental, resulting in text cohesion, bringing meaningful communication. So as you can see here, the goal of using those types of clause complexes, those types of relation in clause complexes, it's to bring meaningful communication, and the students have that ability like the experts. And Teruya also figured out that variety of clause complexes with different functions exist in students' written text. So in general, my study findings and this previous study's result confirm the theory from Halliday and Matheson, in which language is labeled as a multi-dimensional phenomenon to enable human use language in context through meaning-making process. So we reached the conclusion that even though student's text is different in number to the experts, the student is able to produce clause complexes in order to deliver meanings of what was written. Moreover, like the expert's text, the students also produce some types of logical semantic relations, such as expansion and projection, which reflect her ability in delivering meaning through certain systems of functions. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's all from me. Thank you so much. I am open to discussion, comments, and suggestion. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Rinovianti, for the interesting presentations. Okay, so give a big round of applause for Ms. Rinovianti. And as a reminder for the audience, you can still submit questions following the format clicked into chat box. Okay. And then go on to the next presentation entitled An Analysis of Word Formation of English Slang Words used by Fatia Izzati on YouTube that will be delivered by Miss Nurul Fadilah from Universitas Lampung. Miss Nurul Fadilah, are you here?
All right. So am I audible?
You have around 50 minutes. The time is yours.
Right. So please allow me to share my PowerPoints. Right. So Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nurul Fadilah from Lampung University, University of Lampung. So I would like to present my paper or my article entitled an analysis of word formations of English language used by Fatia Izzati on YouTube. So I did this research with my lectures, Prophet Wanraji and also Dr. Tarina Reni. So in terms of language variety itself, it refers to the different ways in which the English language is used to meet various situations, needs, and contexts. And also standard language refers to a formal context in which a specific language variety is used, while non-standard language refers to a less formal context in which a different language variety is used. So, and that if a speaker of English doesn't adhere to a certain set of rules, they are said to be using non-standard English. So the use of non-standard English is typically associated with less formal context, maybe like songs, and then also books, movies, and also etc. And then slang, according to Prayogi 2009, is an unofficial variety of language used by teenagers and also other certain groups to communicate. And also slang can also be interpreted as words or sentences that are not standard, but are used in everyday communication process based on Puraningsi 2005. And also Fishman 1972 defines the use of slang very temporally. Slang doesn't have a precise and also definite definitions and can only be understood by certain groups or communities where the language originates. So the research problem is to know the use of slang words in Fatia Izzati's YouTube videos. All right, so Fatia Izzati itself, Fatia Izzati, or well known as Kipendas, is a YouTube content creator that is followed by 695,000 subscribers, and also she made her YouTube videos or YouTube account and posted some videos related to the various terms of learning English in daily life, and also usually use slang words in her videos. And this research problem is to know the use of slang words in her YouTube videos and also identify the types based on Yule's theory 2010. According to Yule's 2010 definitions, 10 distinct mechanisms contribute to the creations of new words. This technique include new word creations, borrowing, compounding, blending, clipping, and also back formations. And other processes such as conversions, acronym, derivations, and multiple processes are also based on use. The study goal is to identify the various slang terms and their respective meanings. Okay. Okay, so this is the research method. So the samples will be, the researcher pick up 15 videos posted by Fatia Izzati in November 2021 until December 2022 and observe them. So in a year, and also the theory based on 10 types of word formations based on George Yule theory, and also the method will be based on the descriptive qualitative. All right, so these are the findings, the types and frequency of word formations in 15 Fatia videos. So there are acronym, blending, clipping, compounding, and also the duplicative. And it was discovered that the YouTube videos of Fatia Izzati contain 5 distinct patterns of word creations. In the data, acronyms are the starting point for the investigation of the process of word formations. In this research, she came She came across a measly 2 records of acronym. Moreover, 31 records make the use of the slang terms for the blending procedure. And thirdly, the clipping process slang terms appear 4 times in the available data, and the compounding process colloquial name appears in 27 records, which is relevant to the 4 dimensions. And also finally, the reduplicative process slang terms appears in 15 data. Oh yeah, so this is the discussions. So Saputra 2019 and also Wulandari 2020 conducted research on slang words, which showed both similarities and also differences to the present study. So Saputra focused on analyzing slang words used by Instagram by Flashball, while Wulandari 2020 examined slang words used by Instagram by Jerome Pauline. So the current study concludes that slang language reflect linguistic trends on social media platforms such as Twitter, Instagram, maybe and also in YouTube videos, indicating maturity through the use of more adult-sounding vocabulary. And also Hafiza 2020 also explored dominant word formations processed in slang words, but unlike Hafiza, the study considered both the process and also characteristics of slang words. Another similar study investigated the identifications of slang words in English videos uploaded by Fatih Izzati, but it differed in terms of its focus, results, and also underlying theory. So Hafiza 2020 research provides insight into the most common types of word forming process, while the differences between Saputra 2019 and Fatih Izzati's YouTube analysis lie in their respective method for obtaining results. And Saputra and Wulandari employed Elisa's Mathiolus theory and descriptive method using Instagram, where this research analysis relied on US 2010 theory and also employed a descriptive qualitative method. Okay, we come to the conclusion. So after analyzing the data discussed in the preceding chapter, the researcher discovered a total of 79 slang words in 15 YouTube videos featuring Fatih Izzati. So all of the collected data were thoroughly analyzed in the study. So the findings of the research to identify five distinct types of word formations process that are observed in Fatih Izzati's YouTube videos, namely acronym, blending, clipping, compounding, and also reduplications. Among this process, blending was the most frequently used method for creating new words. However, it is important to note that not all potential word combinations were supported by the evidence. Specifically, out of 10 word formations processed outlined in the theoretical framework, 5 were not observed in the empirical data. So this absent process include recursions, metamorphosis, etymology, neologism, and also multiple process derivations. So this research provides useful insight from many perspectives. The first possible applications of this research as a source for information about how words are created, and also it is suggested that future researchers approach this topic from a fresh angle. Microlinguistics can be used to decipher the process of word formations and also slang terms used in YouTube videos. All right, so that's all from me. Thank you, and we come back to the moderator.
All right, thank you, Ms. Turul Fadila, for the interesting presentation. Okay, so give a big applause for Ms. Turul Fadila to presentation. And the last but not least, presentation entitled "A College Student's Improve English Speaking Ability from First Semester to Sixth Semester," that will be delivered by Ms. Ananda Rustian Purnomo from Universitas Islam Malang. For Ms. Amanda Rustian Purnomo, is that here?
Yes, Miss Erin, thank you.
Okay, you have 15 minutes. The time is yours.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Let me introduce myself. My name is Amanda Rustian Purnomo, and I will to present about my article, and the title is "How Students Improve Their English Speaking Ability, Narrative Inquiry." And the first slide is
I will share
introduction. Okay. Among four skills of English, speaking plays a vital role in achieving competence in the language. Speaking is one of the important points to gain competency. Students often face difficulties in speaking English. Speaking skills become the first attention that someone has English skills. According to Hamuda and Sapasky, the student reluctance to use English is result from their less courage and confidence to speak in front of others, fear of being scolded by teacher, unpreparedness, and anxiety of being wrong. This research examined the factors that impact speaking ability among college students. It explored variables such as motivation, anxiety, language, learning strategies, and language input. The finding provide insight into effective instructional practice to enhance speaking proficiency. And the next is a research method. This research is categorized qualitative research and use narrative inquiry design. Qualitative research is an approach that is also called investigate approach because researchers usually collect data by face-to-face and interact with people in a place of research. Qualitative research can also be attained as a type of research whose findings are not obtained through statistical procedure or other form of calculation, and this research took place in 6-semester English study program. The source of data in the subject from which the data can be obtained. For the data collection, the research used class observation and interview. The research observed every activity of student interact in speaking activity. The main purpose of classroom observation as data collection tool is that it can provide access to get first-hand accurate information. Research interview the participant in order to obtain deep and comprehensive information related to student problems in speaking English and possible strategies to overcome the problem. The participant in this study is a male student. The research took the student from English Education Department of a private university in Malang. For the data analysis, research using reference analysis according to Miles and Haberman. And the next is a finding. Based on the result of the interview that has been given to particular, it can be concluded that finding could be seen as follow experience, strategy, difference, and practice. The result of observation made in the classroom by looking at the ability to improve English speaking experience by participants were very good. There are several things that are done in mastering the ability to speak English, such as speaking English more often in front of the class, being active in English presentation activities, and practicing with classmates. From the observation made by researchers, participants are very active in class, and this proves that the improvement of participant English skill is very good. And the next is a discussion. Based on the data analysis from finding about it comes to the discussion. The to student ability, for instance, it can be successful if there is good strategy or factor. Finding and discussion were identified to answer a research question. This research result for strategy to improve speaking ability. There are read a short stories, listening to music and podcasts, watch the movie and practice. The first habit that the participant reading short stories in English. This is done by the participant to increase their knowledge of vocabulary in reading and will be practiced in speaking. The second is listening to music and podcasts. Sometimes he confused about a good pronunciation, so he listen music for better pronunciation. And the third is watch the movie. By watching English films, we can gain knowledge about new phrases that we have never known and can add to the slang and vocabulary of the characters' dialogue. And the last is practice. After doing the three things about the participant did practice to improve his speaking ability, such as teaching and chatting English with friends. Okay, and the last is a conclusion. The success of a person in speaking class is frequently determined by their capacity to use language as a medium of communication. Based on the research that has been done by the researcher, there are some strategies to improve speaking ability, which read a short stories, listening to music and podcasts, watching the movie, and practice and speaking ability. Okay, thank you. That's all from my presentation. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, thank you, Miss Amanda Rusdian Purnomo, for the last but not least presentations. Okay, so give a big round of applause for Miss Amanda Rusdian Purnomo. Alright, okay. Thank you for all presenters who have delivered their presentations. And now we are going to proceed to the question and answer sessions. And thank you for everyone who submit questions through the chat box. I'm going to read them one by one. Okay. All right. Our first question is from Sri Novianti from Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia to the Mr. Kadek. Okay, great presentation, and I personally like the topic. Regarding the three main processes you conducted, would you mind to share what kind of input you give to students in the first step? Is it all about the grammar? Okay, Mr. Kadek, you may have your time to answer.
All right. So thank you so much for the opportunity, Ibu Nurul, as the moderator. Can you hear my voice? Hello, Ibu. Can you hear my voice?
Yes, audible.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm so happy that Ibu Sri Novianti delivered questions to me. This is really interesting questions about the teaching experience, especially in my campus in Sticky. Yeah, I think everyone's here agree that we want to improve our English teaching for the students' skill development, especially English skill. Yeah, I think I get two questions here already from Ibu Nurul also. Well, this is really lucky moment for me. All right, so I hope that I can answer briefly. So the first from Ibu Sri. Yeah, in the process of my research or in English writing class especially, the question is about what kind of input that I give to the students in the first step. For the materials or inputs, they are uploaded in the Google Classroom applications as the platform, and then I set the materials that is English persuasive writing and the subject of general English as the main point. So English grammar becomes the additional, or added partially, not completely. Yeah. For example, I add the theory or materials about relative clause, phrasal verbs, or five tenses that I consider can be as a reminder for them to use in the writing exercise. Yeah, as we know that students have got the learning material since they were in elementary school or even in the kindergarten. So there were really long process of learning English, especially grammar. So I think it's not effective again to teach grammar and grammar again. Besides that, my students in INSTIKI or Institute Business dan Teknologi Indonesia, the students coming from the IT background. So the lecturers, yeah, we here try to provide the applicative materials. Yeah, as my research is in the topic of English persuasive essay as the object of the research, so the input that is provided in the Google Classroom is mainly about English persuasive writing and general English. But surprisingly, after they got the language learning input, the errors, yeah, or the grammatical errors are still found, yeah, in the final project, yeah. And here in INSTIKI, we have about 16 meetings, including the final test, and then for 12 meetings, the students got the language learning input. Yeah, it means the theory or the materials, and after that, starting from 12 meeting, or in 4 weeks, they process the English persuasive essay. Yeah, they have about 1 month to finish. Okay, and then in the last meeting or in the 16 meetings, they must submit the final essay, and then I need 1 month to analyze or check whether there are grammatical errors or not. Okay, I think that's all of my answer or explanations for especially industry about the language learning input. I hope that is answering. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kade, for your answer. For Ms. Rinovianti, is that clear enough for the answer?
All right, thank you, Mr. Kadek. It really gives me also inputs for me to later on teaching, because right now I am still a master's student, but it really gives me insight on how to like manage the materials too. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, you are welcome, Ibu Sri. Thank you so much, and I love to share the teaching experience also, especially about English language. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I hope that's enough for Ms. Sri. And go on to the second questions in the chat box. It's from Ms. Nurul Fadila to Mr. Kadek Yogi Ken. Okay. Excuse me, sir. I don't know whether you have already mentioned it before or not. I just wondering about how many participants that were involved in your research. Thank you. Okay. For Mr. Kadek, you may have your time to answer.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ibu. Well, I'd like to answer the questions from Ibu Nurul. Thank you so much for the questions. For the number of the participants in my research, yeah, I have already mentioned in the previous presentation, the participants or the subject of the research here, there are 25 participants of the INSTIKI students, and once again, they are from the backgrounds of IT or information technology. There are three study programs. Yeah, the first one is the informatics engineering, and then computer systems, and one more is the graphic design. So it is such a challenge for the lecturers to teach English and make them interested in learning English language, because for some students they think that English is not important or useful for their future career, and this mindset can be a mental block, yeah, for the students of Instiki in the future, how they can apply English language better, like that. Yeah, so I think that was my answers for Ibu Nurul. 25 students are enough for my research, I think.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Kacek, for the answer. And for Ms. Nurul, is that clear enough?
Yes, that's already clear enough. So it is quite interesting since it is not an English education environment students, yeah. So it is quite challenging for you maybe to what is that, have how to teach them and make them interested in especially in learning English, or yeah, something like that. Okay, thank you, Mr. Kadek Yogi.
Yeah, thank you, Ibu Nurul. I hope that can answer your questions. And here in Bali, the English lecturers always have challenges in teaching English. I don't know, in another province, maybe you all, the other presenters, can share your experiences in how to develop the students' English skill for their future. Yeah, thank you so much once again.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kacek and Mr. Fatila. I hope that's enough. And we have around 5 minutes left, so maybe I'm giving another call of questions related from 5 topics in this session.
Yeah, excuse me, Ibu. Yeah.
Right?
Hello, Ibu Erin. May I ask questions?
Oh, sure. You can ask the questions.
Yeah, not from the chat box, but just directly here.
Okay.
I want to ask to Ibu Sri Novianti from Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia. Is that right? Or UPI, because I quite often join webinar from your campus. Next time, if you will be the presenters in one webinar, please tell me. Okay.
All right, siap, Mr. Kadek.
I hope that you can share experience and regarding to my questions, this one. After conducting your research, Ibu, did you find any insights, yeah, for the development of writing skill, English writing skill, especially because your topic, yeah, in your after reading your titles and also watching your presentations, it seems that there is writing topics also in your research, right? Similar with my research. So maybe you can share experience or insights that you get after conducting your research, especially for the development of students' writing skill. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Kadek, for the questions. Maybe I'd like to share based on my experience. Actually, I was teaching at senior high school for 2 years in one of a first school in West Sumatra, but there I found out that teaching writing was not that emphasized at that time, at least when I was there. So the teacher at that time just focused not on how to encourage students to write effectively and efficiently, but they just focus on how students just write in terms of just putting like words together, and then they have some grammar corrections. Now, then when I entered UPI after 2 years after I taught there, I was introduced by the lecturers that there is a term called systemic functional linguistics, and which is the subject that I took in my first semester. And I found out that SFL focus on how students can learn not only how to put words together, but how to use language effectively. And then I was introduced to like genre-based approach in teaching writing, and based on that experience, I found out some shifting practice, like from focusing on just formula, just focusing on grammar, tenses, to focusing on meaning. So it's like when I was in school, I also experienced that the teacher explains to me that, so this is past tense, you need to put ed, you need to put ing when you want to say, when it is continuous, you need to put ing after the verb, you need to add s when the nouns are plural. But in systemic functional perspective, I realized that it's not about how student is taught about how to use the formula only, but how to they can use the formula in order to deliver meaning. So the materials, the explanation from the teachers do not begin with the formula, but begin with the explanation about function. Like right now, I am speaking, so it is right now. So when it's happened right now, you need to use continuous tense. So it is not about this is continuous tense, but the students do not know how to use it, when to use it, the function of using it. So that's from my experience as a junior teacher, and I have a very limited experience in this field, and I am now entering my third semester, so I am very a junior. I hope I can learn much from Mr. Kadek too. But so far, that's all I can share, Mr.
All right. Thank you, Miss Sri Novianti, for your answer. And for Miss Kategyoki Susana, is that clear enough?
Yep, very clear from Ibu Sri, and thank you so much for the response. I hope that can be a consideration for me also to teach English here in Denpasar, in Bali. So once again, thank you for sharing.
All right. Thank you for the. I hope that's enough for Mr. Kadek. And due to limited of the time, so I guess that it will be the last question in the question and answer sessions. Okay. Before closing these sessions, maybe let's take a picture first as the documentations. So I want to everyone in this record room, please turn on your camera. I will to count on 3, okay? Okay, I will to count on 3. 1, 2, and okay. Once again. In 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right. Thank you. We have reached to the end of these parallel sessions. Thank you for all presenters and thank you for everyone for attending today's parallel sessions. On behalf of the committee of the 4th International Conference on English Language Teaching, or ICON-ELT 2023, I say thank you so much for joining us in room 5. And don't forget to attend the next plenary sessions tomorrow morning at 8 with the outstanding keynote speakers through the same Zoom link. And we would like to inform you that the certificate for the presenters will be distributed tomorrow afternoon at the end of the conference. Thank you for the attention and have a nice day. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you so much, everyone. See you someday again.
Okay.